Hello, boys and girls. Good morning that you're watching this. It will be morning, hopefully. If it is not, that is perfectly fine. If you are in afternoon, good afternoon. Let's go ahead and get started with our lesson for this week. We're still working with our elements of art because these are an important base in art class. If we didn't have the elements of art, art would be totally different than it seems now. So we're going to go ahead and go through our second element of art this week, and that is the element of shape. But before I begin, I'm going to go ahead and show you our Google Classroom. This is a test classroom, so this means that things may look a little bit different than they do on your end, but it is so you can see the general idea of what you need to know. If you have been using Google Classroom these past few weeks, you know that in the stream section is where I post any important announcements. And the really cool, awesome part is that Google Classroom makes a little section for you here so you can know what assignments you need to go ahead and finish or when they're due. Okay, so they'll be right here on the left-hand side. If I come to the very tippy top, right here where it says classwork, I can click on it and I can go ahead and go to the section where it says art, Ms. Suniga, and I can find the lesson of the week. Not only do we have our lesson of the week here with all our presentations, and in yours it will have the video. You will also have the directions here in this section. Make sure that you always read the directions here to see what materials you will need and the objective that you will need to go ahead and follow for the week. This week's objective is the learner will be introduced to the element of art, shape, and its importance in art. So the importance of shape in art. So this is my assignment. Every single one of you will have a copy of this presentation, and you will know why in a moment. The next part is our exit ticket. Our exit ticket for this week is multiple choice. So if you want to view the question, you click on view. And on my end, I can see who responds to what question here, and make sure that you read the question and directions very carefully. So this is a multiple choice, so you should be able to select your own answer here. You don't need to add it here to our class comments. You just need to go ahead and be able to add it here to your response, to select your response here, okay? So the exit ticket for today is, what is the name of the element of art we will study this week? And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to answer this question. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, this is the presentation that you will have. You have already worked with this presentation. You worked with it 2 weeks ago. This will be the second time that you will work with it. This is important to know, okay? These are Google slide presentations, but they're digital worksheets. So they're for you to type, to write on, to make notes on if you need to, okay? Please make sure that you do not have this presentation here in presentation mode, okay? Right now we have it in work mode. This is how I can add things and change things. If I press present, I am now in presentation mode. If I'm in this mode and I go through the presentation, I can't work with the activities that are here because a very important part of it is hiding over here on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and press escape, and I should come back to my presentation. Remember that here, right here, are parts that will be part of drag and drop. So that means I can click on it, hold it, and drag and drop it. If I don't need it there, then I can drag and drop it back, because if I leave it here, that means I have put it as part of my answer. If it's here on this side, that means I haven't put it as part of an answer yet, okay? The next thing you need to know is that there's written responses for some of these, okay? Anytime that you're expected to type in an answer, you will see an editable box that looks like this to practice, and I saw some of you do this, which is fantastic, okay? To practice, type your name into this box. So everyone, when you turn in your assignment, your name should be here, and it should also be up here in this section of the presentation. Okay, since my name is there, I don't have to type it anymore. So what I'm going to go ahead and do on my end is go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, the slide organization, there's directions in every slide. Please don't skip any information. Make sure you read everything. That way you don't miss out on any of the activities, and I won't count it as a blank answer. All right. So the element of art that we're working with this week is the element of shape. And let's see how that is important in our art class. So a shape is a two-dimensional enclosed space with boundaries defined by other elements of art. Shapes have a height and a length. So we learn about this in math class, a height and a length. Even in science, we see this, okay? Think of that right now, okay? When the word enclosed comes up, it means that it's closed, right? That there's no opening for anything to leave or to come in. Everything is enclosed. That's what that word means. Let's go ahead and go to our next slide, okay? These are the two types of basic shapes, all right? Let's go ahead and look at them. We have geometric shapes. These shapes are regular shapes that can be created with mathematical formulas. They're often man-made. So think of a circle, a triangle, a hexagon, or other shapes that you would see in a mathematical formula or a math problem. Okay. The other type of shape we have to work with is a free-form / organic shape. Okay. Think of the word free. Okay. Think of the word free. This is important. So free-form or organic shapes are defined or not defined mathematically. So let's go ahead and look at that. Not defined mathematically. Okay. The word not. Whoa. All right. The word not is important there because you really won't see these the way you would see them in a math problem, right? They are often irregular and uneven. So that means they're different, right? They look a little more misshapen. And let's go ahead and see examples of that, okay? Let's go ahead and continue. All right. So let's go ahead and work with our next slide. So this next slide has this information. So it is called the shape sort. Okay. Sort the shapes in the sidebar into either the geometric or the free-form organic column. So right here, we're going to go ahead and see if you can place the shapes in the correct box. So we have the geometric shape and we have the free-form shape. So remember, geometric shapes are shapes that you can see in your math problems, right? Your hexagons, circles, rectangles, squares, all of those shapes. And then we have our free-form shapes, and those are a little more uneven. They're a little more natural, okay? They're not really technically part of the math problem section. So let's go ahead and think of that. So I have my shapes here, and remember, you should be able to move them around, okay? And you should be able to place them where you need to. So remember, geometric shapes are, right, those that are a little more precise, right? So I'm going to make my guesses and I'm going to place them where I need to. Okay. Right? And then when you're all done, you can leave them here. Do not move them back. Okay. So identifying shapes. So now you're going to go ahead and also identify the shapes. So drag and drop the shape name cards in the sidebar on top of its matching shape. So the name has to match with the shape. So I can go ahead and drag and drop. The first one is a circle. We're going to do a little bit of review here. And then when you go ahead and work on this, these answers will be back in their place. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a mathematical shape. So this is a geometric shape. That's what it's called. Exactly, a geometric. So it has 6 sides. It is our hexagon. So I'm going to leave it there. And right here, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is my square. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here. And the next one that I have here is my, what is this? A parallelogram. So I'm going to go ahead and place it here, parallelogram. And this one can be a little tricky. Sometimes we confuse it with our diamond. Okay, this is the diamond that we have here. And it looks like this, like a diamond, right? Or we also know it as the rhombus. So that is one of them. And then we have our rectangle. Okay, remember the rectangle has 2 short sides and 2 longer sides. Okay, triangle, 3 sides. And then we have our trapezoid. I like to say trapezoid looks kind of like the Pizza Hut roof. And there we go. And these answers will all be in the place that they need to be. Okay, leave them there. You will need every single term that is here to be able to place it here. Okay, so you should not have any terms left in the drag and drop section. The next part that you will have to go ahead and focus on is this, constructing and deconstructing shapes. So this is a very interesting question. Did you know that you can combine shapes together to create new shapes and break other shapes down into smaller parts? If you didn't know that, then today you will be learning about this. Okay, so for example, this hexagon can be constructed several ways by combining different shapes, like by combining 2 trapezoids. Here we have 2 trapezoids and they make up a hexagon. Okay, so can you come up with 6 different ways to construct a hexagon? Okay, place the shapes in the sidebar on top of the hexagon templates below to construct your own hexagons. Okay, so I'm going to try it out. So we know one way we can make it is with our trapezoid. Okay, and we have it here. That's one way. Let's check out another way. I think I know. Let's look at here. I'm going to place that piece there and this piece here. This is our parallelogram. And I'm going to move it a little bit more. There we go. If you saw those little red lines come up, they're there to help you line up your shapes so they're nice and even. There we go. Whoa. It's a little off, but there. I think we got it. There you go. That is another way. So use your mind to be able to see what 6 different ways you can come up with. Okay. What 6 different ways? You can mess with it as long as you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. You're going to leave yours there. So these will be nice, blank, and ready to go for you to do your work. Now, this is the end of the actual presentation where we learn about shape. Remember that when you're ready to turn in your assignment, you have done an amazing job. You've reached the end of this part of the activity. Okay, and you will you'll go ahead and go to close the file, right? And you'll go to turn in, right? You'll go to the turn in button to turn it in to your teacher, okay? And I'll be able to see any changes that you made and anything that you've left behind. Alrighty, boys and girls, so we've reached this part of the presentation where I can say you're done learning about shapes, how to define shape, and how it is important to creating different objects, maybe like think of a bug or think of an animal or even a person, how these shapes can make up these objects or people. This is the next section you'll need to go ahead and focus on. Aside from this presentation, there's 3 more small assignments that you'll be working with, okay? So these 3 assignments are the following. They're going to be named shape puzzles levels 1, 2, and 3, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on level 1 and it's going to look just like this, okay? And it's going to give you instructions. Remember, don't skip these instructions. Read every instruction so you can know exactly what you need to do, okay? And then you have, again, this activity. So at the end of our first presentation, you had a small activity where you moved shapes around to make another shape, and you will be doing the same thing now, but to create an animal, an object, right, or a bug. Okay, it will depend. So for example, we have a boat here, so this is one of our objects. You will drag and drop the shapes where you need to, so you can see what shapes you can use to create these objects or these bugs or animals. Okay, and this is supposed to help you think of the many different ways that you can draw these items as you are working through art class. Everything is made with shapes, so this is for you to see. Don't move your shapes back, that way I can actually see that you've worked on the assignment. Just like I left it here, leave the shapes alone there and continue working through all the slides. As you go through the slides, it will get a little bit more challenging, but it is not impossible because you are all capable of being able to do this assignment. Okay, so when you're all ready, the very next step that you will go ahead and do is turn in your work. So like always, go ahead and go to the section where you've closed this assignment, but go to turn in, and it turns it into me. Alrighty, boys and girls, so we're all done here with our lesson for this week. Remember, our lesson this week is the element of art shape. So now you should be able to answer that exit ticket question of the day. Please make sure that you read the directions and that you always pay attention to how you answer the question, okay? Today's question, which is Monday's question, is multiple choice. So go ahead and select your best answer. For the lesson this week, remember there's 4 parts. One of them is the lesson that we went through in this video, and the other 3 are the ones that I went through briefly towards the ending, which are the art games dealing with shape. There's 3 levels, okay? In order to complete these assignments, please break them down throughout the week. Make sure that you work on one each day. That way you can give yourself time to go ahead and work on all your other assignments for your other classes and turn them in on time, okay? Remember, there's 3 ways you can reach me. One is by Class Dojo, the other is Google Classroom, and the next will be Zoom on the day that you have your Zoom meeting with me. If you have a question, that's that special time. You can ask me that question. If you attend those meetings, you won't need to answer the exit ticket question for that day that you attend the meeting. That is all for now, boys and girls. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you later. Bye.